to introduce someone who's going to liven up this afternoon a little bit for us. Rich Flentge, he's a local art author. He came to Toronto, correct? And he's going to entertain us a little bit. So just go ahead and relax at your booth, but go ahead and listen up.
Okay, thank you, Kyla. And I wanted to compliment you, Kyla. This was a very nice venue. It's certainly a very nice facility. And my name is Rich Flentge, and I write a book about Missouri that is called Muletack. And it chronicles how the state animal, the mule, became the state animal. And the interesting thing about the story is that it was not legally adopted in this state for 100 years. And the reason it wasn't legally adopted is because the politicians here in Missouri did not want to vote on the mule because it looked too much like the donkey or the jackass of the Democratic Party, and they felt that the mule vote would give advantage or disadvantage to a political party. And a couple from Cape Girardeau, Missouri went and discovered this fact and actually did a quest here in together as a couple and toured the state, and they went before the state legislature, and that's how they got the mule adopted as the state animal. And it's a wonderful parallel of what is occurring today in our political system, which is politicians don't want to vote based on if the results will harm them in future elections. And it's a very interesting study. And one of the more interesting facts about it is the man who did it not because he loved mules, but because he loved his wife. And he wanted something to do with his wife, and they got to travel around the state. This area here in southeast Missouri has a tremendous amount of mule history. The Bootheel was a large mule trading area, and it also was an area that flooded. And its claim to fame in mule history here in the state of Missouri is that when the floods came in and the area became muddy, they had to put special shoes on the mule to like a snowshoe to allow them to cross over muddy water. Now, that was a very rare use of mule and mule power. Now, in this area, in Mississippi County, there is a famous Mark Twain story, which those of you that know, Mark Twain wrote Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, which was published in the 1880s, so about 130 years ago. He had his fame really came from, he culturalized the events after the Civil War. And he was able to discuss and speak about slavery and the African American situation in a way that people were able to accept it. Now here in Mississippi County, you have what is called Bird's Point. And at Bird's Point, Mark Twain would stop often, and he would visit a girlfriend here in Mississippi County. And somewhere here in this area, there are love letters from Mark Twain. And there are rumors that people still look for these love letters. And if anybody finds them, they probably will be worth several $1,000s. Now, was walking here in Mississippi County one day, and he met a man that was panhandling. And he had asked him about, he asked Mark Twain for a nickel to get a cup of coffee. And Mark Twain said, you know, I don't have a nickel, but I have a cigar. Would you like a cigar? He said, no, sir, I don't smoke. He said, well, I'm heading over to the racetrack, and I'm going to stop by the bar. Would you like to go with me? He said, no, sir, I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I don't gamble. He said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take you home and let you meet my wife, because I want her to see what happens to a man that doesn't drink and doesn't smoke and doesn't gamble. Here in Missouri, which we get the Show Me name, the Show Me name was associated with the mule industry, and although it was accredited politically and historically to a man by the name of Van Diver, the term actually came out of the mule trading industry, which was when you would buy a mule, you would ask if it could do certain things, such as respond to a command, and the buyer would ask the seller to show him that the mule could do the specific traits. That's actually where we get the Show Me name from, the state of Missouri.